The oldest radioactive waste of the atomic age originated here in St. Louis, downtown, starting in the 1940s when Mallinckrodt Chemical Works began processing uranium for our nation's first nuclear weapons. At that time, no place existed to isolate the resulting waste from the public for the thousands of years that they will remain radioactive. And as we all probably agree, there still is no safe, permanent place. After World War II, truckers began hauling and dumping the waste out here in North St. Louis County, where they have been contaminating our St. Louis communities and rivers ever since. Leaving these hazardous wastes in and along the floodplain of the Missouri River that we drink is not a solution. The federal government creates nuclear weapons. The government has the moral and fiscal responsibility to clean up the nuclear weapons waste at West Lake Landfill. I think that's very important. I think I'll read it again. Yeah. The federal government creates nuclear weapons. The federal government has the moral and fiscal responsibility to clean up the nuclear weapons waste at West Lake Landfill. St. Louisans need our town's virtually permanent radioactive nuclear weapons wastes dug up and moved to a safe place, away from the water we drink and away from the air we breathe.
The most important thing we're going to hear tonight, and I'm going to be sitting over here by Jim taking notes, is your views. I was here a few months ago and I listened to 44 presentations from some of you who were here that night who talked about the devastation that the uranium that has been put through, around, and in your community has caused you. And I'm sorry about that. I truly am sorry about that. That should not happen to anyone. Administrator Pruitt's been in office a year. What we've committed to you months ago was to get this to a solution, and not just a Band-Aid solution, but one that we would stand behind. We call this Excavation Plus, and we believe very strongly that it is the right solution. But we want to hear your comments. We believe, and the Administrator Pruitt believes, that he made the proper decision. That doesn't mean everybody here agrees with it. The decision itself moves this ahead. And we will have this completed because we believe that the responsible parties are going to be responsible. We believe they will step up and pay this. We do not anticipate that we're going to fight them, but we will fight them if we have to. But he has said on all sides, I expect responsible parties to be responsible. Now there are more or less three responsible parties, as I've talked with Ms. Dry. Department of Energy has a portion of this. Public Services has a part of this, as does a company called Exelon. So it's up to them to figure out how they divide that.
For the last 5 years, my life has been put on hold in order to make sure that I'm doing everything I can to protect my children from a burning radioactive landfill that sits 1.8 miles from my home. I am the founder of the West Lake Landfill Facebook and co-founder of Just Numps STL. Combined, these two groups have over 30,000 followers now. In 5.5 years, I have built a foundation through social media that educates this community of the potential dangers lurking in our soil, air, and water from the West Lake Bridgeton landfill. This is something EPA Region 7 has failed to do in 28 years. Most of this education came through EPA's own documents. This community has been lied to, ignored, and laughed at by the employees of the very same agency that is supposed to protect us. EPA is the oversight agency of the West Lake Landfill Superfund site, but has failed at its attempts and sat back and did nothing while a billion-dollar company organized and continued to spread lies and false information pertaining to the risk of human health from this site, patronizing us through community CAB meetings with smirks and grins to eye rolls and the famous quote from an EPA person that said, "I wouldn't have a problem living here, it's safe." Some of those same people are here tonight to tell us that the radioactive waste must be removed because it is a risk to this community. That risk isn't new. It's been a risk for over 40 years. I believe this community is owed a public apology from EPA Region 7 for the way this very sick and dying community has been treated. All of that said is the reason the following things must take place. There needs to be a relocation plan in place for those living 1 mile from the landfill, along with a property assurance plan for the purposes of the tax basis. In regards to the 16-foot depth excavation, this waste must be fully removed in areas where it is safe to do so, such as Area 2, no exception. The other areas must see waste removed to the safest level possible to human risk. The waste also must be disposed off-site, as this location sits in and prone to many natural disasters. It sits in the middle of a heavily populated metropolitan area, and there is no reason to keep it here.
The public found out about it around the late summer of 2012, and that includes the local fire department, which is kind of crazy that you wouldn't tell the local fire department that there's a smoldering landfill fire down the street that they might have to respond to. But that happened, and it's my understanding the Missouri Department of Natural Resources has sort of changed the way that they inform first responders about landfill fires. The reason that we care about 100% effectiveness is because we don't want to make this problem worse in a heavily populated area with industry and residential and right near an airport. So right now it's looking like the plan to address this is to monitor it until it goes out. As it smolders over time, you can see like there's these big impressions. I don't know what you want to call them.
So like where it goes down there in the middle, that's from the...
That's due to the smoldering, because over time, as the smoldering occurs, the weight of the landfill on top of it falls into where it's smoldering, settle about 1 to 2 feet a year. Parts of this landfill have settled more than 80 feet in the last 5 years. So it's causing a lot of problems because you can see the amount of infrastructure they have on there. In some places, they have like these concrete bricks out here. Like you can see one right behind us, and it's kind of low, but you can see where they have like these concrete pieces out there, and they're meant to tie down the gas extraction equipment system from falling over as the landfill settles. And what they did after the surface fire on the other side is EPA went in and cut down the brush and put gravel and other non-combustible material on top of it to try and prevent any types of other future surface fires before they reached a record decision. When the material is heated up, their conclusion was basically, yeah, it could accelerate the radon, but it's not really a big deal. The problem with that is that they only looked at radon, and radon's not the only radioactive concern at the site, so we really don't know the answer to that question. In terms of if there were an actual flame impacting radioactive material, there is more, scientific literature out there about that, in that, we would expect it to mobilize. And that is based on, scientific studies that have been peer-reviewed, looking at basically forest fires and grass fires where fallout from Chernobyl landed. And so they looked at plutonium, which is actually...
And I'm a senior at Fort Zumwalt East High School, where I'll be attending Stanford University next fall. I'll be enlisting the help of the greatest minds in the country to help me follow and research this site. And I'll be talking fast, so listen up. A few weeks ago, the EPA's own review board, the NRRB, called them out for the fact that they don't know enough about their site, or at least that they're willing to disclose. We want the data, because it's been some shady and sometimes even incompetent. In fact, tonight, I'm submitting a several-page commentary on everything I, a high schooler with no technical background, could find wrong with your proposed amendment. 9,000 years. What we're leaving in the ground is only going to get hotter and more dangerous. It's on a bell curve, so it gets worse before it gets better. And it's taking our loved ones with rare diseases at an alarming rate now. But if we leave that much waste for that long, one can only imagine how bad this is going to get. Can anyone name a civilization that has lasted 9,000 years? A language? A text? Not even the Bible is that old. So how are we going to warn people that there is nuclear waste here that will kill them, especially as it gets more dangerous in this floodplain, in a tornado-prone and earthquake-susceptible area, and right now next to a literal fire? Is this the legacy our generation wants to leave on the planet? To only dig 16 feet, leave this stuff in the groundwater, and to continue leaching into the groundwater, and to leave over 70% of this waste to get hotter and keep killing people for years to come? Help the citizens of Bridgeton, for real, once and for all. Get them out of here, get the waste out of here, get all of it out, not just 16 feet, not just 52.9 PCI per gram, not on site, but all of it, out of Bridgeton. I'm for Alternative 7. We're done with this rad waste legacy bullshit. We want change. We want the truth, and we want safety. Look at this room. There are 1,000 people here. The world is watching us tonight, and it's pertinent we make the right decisions, because those decisions, your decisions, are going to impact this land and the people who live here for 9,000 years. Not a lot of people have the opportunity to say they made that kind of change in the world. So when you do, make sure it's for the better.